Do you want to manage your money like a millionaire or the 1%? Hi, I'm Tracy, and today we're discussing the 75-10-15 rule, and this allows you to build wealth regardless of your income. So basically, this is a system that's going to adapt to your income level, whether you earn 10K, 100K, or $1 million a year. So in this video, we are breaking down the 75-10-15 rule, or the budgeting guideline, and a couple tips on how to achieve it. So let's get into the details. First, we're going to have to start with explaining what the 75-10-15 budgeting guideline even is. So to sum it up super fast, it's basically you can't spend all of your money, as lovely or as fun as that might sound. So instead, 75% of that money is going to be for spending, 15% is going to be for investing, and 10% is going to be for saving. So let's chat a little bit more about these three categories. First is that big category. 75% of your money is allowed to buy things or to spend. Now, you can spend less of 75% of your income, then great, but you only have this one category for spending absolutely everything. So everything has to come out of this one category. And that includes things like essential living expenses. So we're talking about housing, rent, mortgage, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, and all those necessary expenses that are required for daily living. But this category also includes all that non-essential expenses. So anything like dining out, entertainment, hobbies, vacations, or any other personal wants that are not a necessity for basic living. So basically, you can only spend maximum 75% of your money or your paycheck. And I'll go over later for an example, so keep watching. Now, what I love about this is you only have 75% of your money to spend on everything. So this might force you to make some hard choices, like maybe seek some cheaper options or just be more frugal, which is simply making smarter money management decisions. Also, this limit of 75% is going to help you focus on things that you actually value. So I love to talk about this in my video, and this is a value-based budget. So spend on things that you absolutely value or give you joy and cut back on all those other categories. For example, I'm not a foodie, I don't value eating out, but I know a lot of people are. Now, I understand that achieving a 75% spend rate might be hard on some people depending on your situation, so stick around and we'll discuss some tips later about how to actually achieve this. Let's move on to that next bucket, which is the category of investing. So 15% of your money should be going here, and it's an extremely important category because this is where you're going to be building wealth. So if you can reduce that 75% and put more money here, I strongly recommend it. This category is so important because you have to put your money to work. And by doing that, you're going to, one, build wealth due to compounding returns, where you earn returns on your initial investment as well as on your returns. So that's going to accumulate over time. And two, you really have to beat inflation because inflation is eroding the purchasing power of your money over time. Now, let's quickly define what investing is. So investing is simply just putting your money into something like stocks or real estate. So instead of keeping all your money in a savings account as cash where it's going to earn very minimal interest, you invest in things like assets that have the potential to grow in value and provide you income. Again, basically, you need to keep your money safe from inflation because inflation is eroding the value of your money and nobody wants that. Now, what I see most of the time is people are rich because they have assets, not because they have a high-paying job. But everyone's definition of rich is different. But I think you can still be broke with a high-paying job, but if you spend all your money and still have assets, then you're not broke. Now, that last 10% of your money is for saving. Now, this is going to be saving for things like an emergency fund in case you need to fix your car or something in your house. So you might hear this as a cushion fund. So again, most people recommend 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, and this will give you cash to pay for expenses without going into debt. So all you need to do is take your monthly take-home pay and times it by 3 or 6 or even 12, depending on your risk level, and this is the amount of money that you should be saving. But the key here is once you have saved enough, you can now stop saving and you take that money and now you put all that money into investing because again, this is how you're going to build your wealth. So now in theory, you're going to have 25% of your income being invested. And I have other videos on investing, like investing for beginners and more common mistakes. So if you need more information, you can watch those. Moving on, it's pretty simple to understand the categories and the amounts, so let's chat a little bit more about some of those tips to succeed. And first of all, there's no way around it, but you're going to have to do the math. You need to know what your monthly income is after tax so you can actually determine how much money you have in each of those categories. So let's take an example. You make $4,000 a month. That's going to give you $3,000 to spend, $600 to invest, and $400 to save. Now, you're going to have to track and you're going to have to monitor your spending. This is the only way you're going to know if you're actually able to achieve those amounts and you're spending it where you need to be in those three categories. So I highly recommend that you actually do have a budget and that you track your numbers for at least a couple months to give you a good idea of your averages. Hopefully 75% of your money does not come from all your necessities like housing and food, and that still gives you some money to actually play with, because if not, it's going to be really tough. And don't forget to put your savings into a high interest savings account so you can actually make money on it and you can still access it fast if you need to. Lastly, I'm going to recommend that you make separate bank accounts. This is the easiest way to make sure that you're actually pulling money from the right categories and not overspending. Overall, I really love this idea of the 75-15-10 rule. And the more that you can boost that second category, the more wealth that you'll create. And who doesn't want to be wealthy? So comment below on your thoughts on this rule. I love reading them all, and I'll see you in my next video. Much thanks and love, Tracy.